What's up, my ninja monkeys? Something is here for my first ever wall flip tutorial. This is on a trick that I recently mastered, and I've now done it on concrete, so I finally feel ready to teach you guys it. It's the first wall flip you should learn, if you ask me, because it's easy and it's not technically a flip, so even when things go as bad as possible, you probably won't die. Alright, so you just saw what it looks like. Wall spin. I don't know if I said that. This is a wall spin tutorial. The things that you're going to want for this to help you is obviously a safety rule, because when you come down off this wall, you'll be in some strange positions whenever you're learning. So it's nice to have break falls and know that you can save yourself in a disaster. Second thing you're going to want is called a palm spin. Wall spin is basically an inverted palm spin. So I'll put in a quick clip of me doing that here, although I don't have a tutorial for it. You'll just have to see it and see how it adapts, and then I'll give you another tip in a bit. My palm spins have gotten a lot worse over the years because I guess I don't really use them at all, but with that you should have an idea of how this works. Now, before you do the wall spin, the best place to learn this, if you don't have a inclined wall in a safe place, which is what you definitely want, you should go to a playground, because you'll be able to learn it instantly pretty much. On a playground swing set, it's made of metal bars, metal triangles, and the angle's low enough, and it's also a thin bar, that you can do it without risking touching your feet on anything. And also, it's angled so that you can do this very, very easily. Here's a clip of me doing it. Something like this is really nice because you don't even need to jump into it. You just hold on. Easy. And then, you can just practice going high. Ta-da! So, first things first, just going over on the swing set, because that's the most helpful way to do it. You're going to want an underhand and an overhand. That's true for the palm spin, the wall spin, and the swing set spin, which is what we're going to call that. Swing set spin, you just want a few steps. Actually, this is just a takeoff for all three of these moves. Just a few steps, and then a collect step. I think that's the best way to do it. You don't want to just jump off 2 feet, and you also don't want to gather into it like a Webster. I just like to call it a collective hop. It's a good way to get power easily and not throw yourself straight into the wall. Anyway, for the swing set one, it's nice because you can reach nice and low. You could even just start by holding it under grip to whichever side you want to use. Whichever side you're going to go around to, that's the under grip hand. Put it there, other one comes over top, and you just spin around it, then on the other side. Super easy to do on a swing set. The challenge is moving it to a wall. First problem that people have, even once you start this, you'll figure it out, but you should know it ahead of time too. Most of the time the issue is that people go too low because they're trying to cheat the flip and get around as fast as you can. Understandable, but it actually makes it a lot harder to land the trick. What you're going to want to do is go up as high as you can comfortably do without jumping and going above yourself. When I do this, this wall is perfect for me whenever I relearn this outside. I've done this on the brick walls before, but there's this outstick of bricks. So it's perfect for my mental training because I know I have to go above that little spot. And if you have chalk, maybe not in a public building, you shouldn't do this, but set a little marker for where you're gonna stick your hands. Your lowest hand is the underhand. And this is the position they'll be in. Under, over. Now, if you're standing here like this and you're thinking about jumping, it'll definitely feel impossible to do this trick. How are you gonna get over yourself? I mean, it's impossible, right? The thing is, physics works for you when it comes to free running. Because if you get a couple steps and jump into it, the wall will feel like a totally different thing. It'll feel more like the floor than the wall. It's something solid you can push off of. And that is the basis of foundation for learning this trick. Knowing that you have half a second, 1 second maybe, where you're gonna stick to the wall if you jump into it right. 2 mistakes you can make on this path is too much or too little. If you're scared of the wall and you're not holding on, all of that energy is wasted and you will tumble straight down. Fun. Demonstrations. But if you go too hard into the wall, then you will stick for sure, but the rest of your body's gonna keep going into the wall and you'll just as easily flop straight down. When you're running up to the wall, you shouldn't go straight at the wall, and you also shouldn't go completely alongside the wall, because if you're like this, your feet are guaranteed gonna stop you. And if you're coming like this, there's no rotation. So like I said, it's balance. A nice 45-degree angle on the wall. Jump up, and here you go. Put them about shoulder and maybe head height for your hands, and you should be good to try it. You just want maybe 2 to 5 steps, so you can jump up, collect, get a little bit off the floor, and jump up and into the wall. You're gonna put your weight into the wall, and this is, the lower hand is the anchor. That's what you're gonna pivot around, in a sense. And this hand is well, to help you catch onto the wall, and also you can throw the wall behind you, give you some extra spin. So if you've been following along, this is where we're up to so far. A nice takeoff and a nice touch to the wall. Just practice jumping into it, getting into the hand positions. So I didn't say this before, I know I didn't. A cartwheel is actually probably gonna help you with this too. So if you've made it to this point, I'm assuming that you have done palm spins on a flat obstacle, like a rail is perfect. And also you've done the swing set wall spin, because that is, I mean, if you do that, you at least understand how it works. So I don't have to explain so much what it means to get around yourself, because it's a bit difficult to explain, really. You just start the motion and practice following through, and it eventually starts to work. But what we're up to, nice jump into the wall. You don't want to start rotating too early, because that'll cut your height. And you don't want to jump up straight and then try and rotate, because then you're going to need the cartwheel to save yourself. So it's nice to have that when you're learning, to help you find the balance. When you get to the wall, like I said, this is your anchor and this is your spinner. You're going to be throwing the wall around you. Tuck in tight with your legs. I know you're probably going to be scared of your feet clipping on the wall, and sometimes they do, but typically it doesn't actually stop you or even slow you. It's just a little brush or maybe even a stick, but you'll keep coming around because your body's a lot stronger than the friction that will generate. When it comes to how does it work, well, hopefully you've done the progressions already, so you know how it works. All it comes down to is a matter of holding on. No matter what happens, stick to the pivot hand. It will hold you, I promise. There will be times when you tumble to the floor and roll out of it, but in general, this move is not that hard, and so when you practice it a lot, you will get it. So I'll show you it one more time, and then I'll give you some progressions. Getting better every time. Just a little test for myself. I want to see how controlled I am. See if I can come down on my close foot, like a wall spin flash. That was my best land so far. Happy with it. You smell that? So progressions for this move. Like I said, the best one has got to be finding a slope wall or the swing set flip. But eventually there will come a time when you can no longer use those, and you do have to try to translate that progression onto this wall. So, like I said, you need to have the swing set spin. Keep that in mind. Now using that, we're gonna kind of cheat our way through this progression so we can get all the way through. You're gonna need a cartwheel for this. What you're gonna wanna do is go through the motions, the run up, start the jump like you wanna do it, but put one hand really low and put the underhand on the floor. You're gonna try to spin around that way. Now you can see how this will help you build up into it, for sure. That's as close as you can get without actually doing it. And then I recommend maybe just tossing it a few times, low goes, just to know how it feels. Every combination of breakfall will help you in getting through this sphere. But all in all, when you're finally ready to commit to it, just like most things, when you send it all the way, you'll do it right. You'll probably land on your feet within the first 5 to 10 times, because in terms of difficulty, this one's pretty low on the list. It's also very safe to learn. Here's another one. When it's time, it's time. Get a nice jump, not too high, not too low. Hold on for dear life. Even when things go wrong, it's hard to mess up. That was bad because I pretty much jumped straight into it, but there we go. yeah, so no matter how bad things go, once you get this one, you get it, and you can take it anywhere you like. Walls are pretty commonplace things. Even before you're ready to do backflips, I recommend you start with this. It's a good confidence booster. Wall spins, it's a great one. I recommend everyone learns it. So with that, hope you enjoy your learning. My first ever wall trick tutorial, the beginning of my free running life, celebrates by this move. Peace and love. Merry Christmas.